If you're here today with us, then you're part of an emerging movement of people who, number one, are troubled by the traditional reductionist thinking that seems to detach us and leaves us feeling adrift socially, spiritually, and economically. You're sensing as well that there's something new out there, and it's very interesting. And you're excited to co-create a new mindset, one that views the world as a mutually sustaining ecosystem that's capable of benefiting not just 1%, but all of us. Welcome to this call for Colleaga members who are interested in this idea of impact investing and blended capital. And thank you to everybody who's joined us from all over the world. Colleaga believes in the power of social entrepreneurs to collectively build great companies that solve social and environmental problems, big and small. And in our essence, we do just two things. We bring together the change makers, the outlaws who don't accept the status quo, and the social entrepreneurs who see massive and wicked problems as incredible opportunities to act. And we illuminate the ways that they are trying to transform the world and ignite actionable funded collaborations like this one. In practice, funded collaborations answer a simple question. How do we get the capital from where it is at the moment to where it's needed in order to unleash potential in communities to take control of their own destiny? Jed Emerson, who's the eminence Greece of the blended capital movement, calls this flourishing in a confusing mess. It's about using hybrid capital structures which combine grants and subsidies and concessionary loans and equity investments with customer capital. And where we expect for and we plan for equity investors and loan investors and others to receive different kinds of blended value. Justin from Breakout might be joining us on this call. But to give you an example of how RSF Capital, social finance, who he runs, thinks about blended finance, here is a case study for Veritable vegetables. The Veritable vegetables had been turned down by every bank and every angel investor in town. And they needed $4 million to build out their industrial park. What they did is a $30,000 grant allowed them to release a federal grant of $100,000 that required a 30% match. $130,000 was then matched with impact investors who were carefully selected to say, let's do this. They put in $400,000, and that then matched a $270,000 investment from the local food co-op who were Veritable Vegetables customers. That created $800,000 in equity-like capital that RSF, Social Finance, and one other bank could use to create a loan of $3.2 million. And that's how a $4 million financing came together. That's how blended financing works. So these arrangements, they don't look like a traditional roadshow. They don't look like a single term sheet. What they look like is and they're not asking for anybody on this call or anywhere else for a hasty yes, we'll do it or no. What they're about is thinking in systems and seeking opportunities to understand and for cooperation. Cooperation is the only way for us to address the systemic emergencies that are ahead of us. And in Colleaga world, cooperation is about meetings like this, where we are experientially learning what these things are about, and it is about active, intentional contributions. So there's an old African saying that expresses a simple, profound truth about collaboration. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Today, I'm very delighted to introduce you to two amazing Colleaga Impact Fellows who are both great examples of people who have come incredibly far and intend to go even further together. You heard the introduction from Katie about Una and Joe. And as you hear their stories, please think about one simple question. What is it that you think that they can do to get capital? What can you do to help get the capital from where it is to where it's needed to unleash the community potential that they will tell you about? We want to hear what you think. And as you go into the breakout rooms, please tell us how you think you can participate in helping to change the world that they are speaking about, to change the world from what it is now to what it is we would like to see. So over to you, Una.
When I met my co-founder, Gordon Casey, the lovely human, in early 2018, I had been working in poverty violence harm reduction in Vancouver as a systems change advocate, community organizer, and lucrative granting contractor in Vancouver. I could raise millions of dollars for health and equity projects and innovations, only to watch with dismay as these amazing projects discontinued because they ran out of money or funding, even though they had highly successful outcomes. I was very attracted to Gordon's idea of building a financially sustainable cooperative social venture with a vision of sustaining the impact of our project through ethical business practices, co-design, consultation, design justice, and of course, the lean startup model. And I put my talent towards entrepreneurship. The thing that we focus on is overdose fatality and eliminating overdose fatality. So given the quick administration of Narcan and rescue breaths, overdoses are largely treatable. The catch is that in order to survive an overdose, a person needs another person to administer first aid. And in order for that to occur, we need to know the when and the where of a potential overdose. And we realized early on that we were doing something radical by focusing on the moment that everyone else veered away from. We were creating a movement for technology inside of harm reduction to create connection. And as we know, we have gone, or as you can see, we have gone about creating love, hope, and connection in every aspect of our movement. The messy beginning started in the summer of 2018. We set about the business of engaging with tens of thousands of people. We made countless presentations, attended and presented at conferences, co-conspirated with think tanks, developed initial solutions, and then iterated all of our solutions as per community feedback and consultation. We created community research projects around tech surveillance and harm reduction. We found consciously competent business models. We collaborated, we convened, we co-designed, we found friends, allies, love and kin in almost every interaction that we had. We fell in love 100 times, had our hearts broken 100 more. We attended more funerals, memorials, firesides. We cried our eyes out and then we laughed our faces off because, you know, if you're not laughing, you are crying. As we saw the yield of our efforts bloom into traction, we ran successful pilots in Vancouver, San Francisco, and Ohio. Yeah, you heard that right, Ohio, proving that OD detection technology can be adopted in the most unlikely of places. We launched our alpha of the Brevettes at the beginning of COVID in Canada and the US, and very soon after had 4,000 downloads, near 6,000 calls, and 23 OD reversals. We created community and we created connection to community and emergency response networks. We collaborated with 911, health emergencies, building managers, and importantly, we installed 290 buttons into 13 sites with over 4,000 button presses. And with those, we've seen over 100 overdoses reversed. We've developed washroom sensors installed in 22 sites, which activates nearby response if someone stops moving in a washroom. And just in case you're wondering, that's just in the first 2.5 years of us moving this from an idea into a business. And the most important factor for us is that that's almost 10,000 times that someone has reached out to us for help or reached out through our tools for help and have been connected with another human being. As you can see, connection is at the center of everything that we do. So moving into the business frame, we spin our straw into gold, and these tools in production are simple solutions for use in very complex situations. Spray buttons, sensors, and apps help people who use drugs do what we learned works to keep them safe. They activate a community of response. so far, collectively, they have detected 113 overdoses, all of which were reversed. And I can't state this enough times. These tools are working. So let's talk quickly about people who live in supportive housing, because they are particularly susceptible to accidental overdose deaths, because in a single room occupancy environment, you're alone in your room when using drugs. Solutions that work mitigate and contain human and operational costs from businesses and supportive housing operators, because they face significant costs, compulsory leave, legal bills, staff turnover, as well as the grief of losing the people who are in their community. These costs are astronomical. So people seek us, they welcome us, our solutions work, and that is why they are coming to us. Market size, there are billions of dollars going into harm reduction, billions again invested in digital health, billions in prevention and treatment for mental health and addiction, but those are not our aims. Our conservative estimate of the entire market size of overdose detection and preparedness is approximately $1 billion. Approximately 500 million of that are for a total addressable market, and our sweet little total attainable market is approximately 7.1 million. And because we have so many active devices deployed across 36 clients, Covenant House, John Howard, including Covenant House, John Howard, and the Salvation Army, we are seeing year-over-year traction. We're deploying 400 more in the upcoming months, more in Vancouver, more in the Yukon, more in Ontario. Last week, we got Scotland to sign up for some of our technology. It's taken time, but it's exciting to finally see regional healthcare delivery system funding bodies step up to take financial burden away from the cash-strapped housing operators. And that's what has allowed us to propose arrangements for any housing operator to install our system underneath a B2G sales model. Our mentors and investors frequently comment on the potential for the Brave platform and monitoring solution to scale into agritech, B2B, and other verticals, and those are additional huge markets. But we believe that for now, we must stay focused on the unique needs of our core customers, the housing operators, the acute care settings, governmental bodies, the 40,000 organizations in North America spending approximately $173 billion per year on direct services to the community at risk of overdose. Don't let the cooperative structure throw you. It is the same business model you're used to. We are finalizing our investment terms, which we have structured very similarly to a convertible loan, modified for our cooperative structure. If you invest $100,000, for example, today, you would receive one third of our profit over the next 10 years and receive $8,000 in annual dividends starting in year 3. And after 10 years, you exit with one final present and profit share plus your original $100K repaid to you. Our team is amazing, committed, dedicated, filled with love and heart for the work we do. When COVID hit us hard, and it did, our team stepped up. They increased their production. They improved product development strategies. They rolled up their sleeves and collaborated to get as many of our tools into the places that we, as humanly possible, because we knew with great sadness that isolation protocols were going to further marginalize, isolate, and increase the risk of overdose fatality for those that we love. We knew that was going to happen exponentially. We knew that we had an ecosystem of solutions to launch to the world, overdoses to reverse, connections to make, breaths to honor, and we had so much work to do. This too is pretty much capable of anything. Dan, I want to thank you so much for bringing us into the unique Colleaga Impact Fellowship. We're so delighted to work with our Colleaga Impact Fellows. You are, for those of you who are watching, Josephine Gray, an amazing human being with amazing work in also a cooperative fashion, and in the true spirit of co-ops, supporting co-ops. We are going to figure out how we can work together in the near future to create less suffering. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Josephine Gray.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And yeah, for sure. I mean, our densely populated neighborhood, around 25,000 people, struggle with food insecurity, climate chaos, and inequality, and all of the diseases of despair that are facing people globally. And of course, this has been partly seen in our accidental overdoses. So overdose fatalities have increased 167% during COVID. So we really hope to see the brave button sensors and apps soon in our beleaguered concrete jungle. I'm really looking forward to that. So, hello everybody, I am Josephine. I've been leading the Oasis Food Hub project for the St. Jamestown Community Co-op for about 8 years. Oasis is a full cycle eco-smart climate resilient food hub model to enable our diverse community to produce our own healthy, affordable food year round. We are cultivating the Oasis Microfarm network to implement the on-site food growing component of our model with our partners in this Colleaga Collaboratory. We are very proud to have won the COIL Circular CoLab Award. This award is enabling us to demonstrate how residents of St. Jamestown can take control of our food sovereignty and generate additional income for our families by growing our own organic food at a time when food insecurity is becoming a crisis for communities like ours. Oasis Microfarms are a network of apartment-scale aquaponics and soil microfarms that are integrated with our larger climate-controlled central growing zone, which includes vermicomposting, grows seedlings, has a variety of beautiful different interactive functions, including a wetland that really rapidly grows and produces with very low maintenance and allows us to distribute organic, package-free on-site crops and value-added products. The farms that you see in these pictures are in our apartments and in our office. We are already producing lettuce, kale, basil, and fish for our community, and we're looking forward to many more crops as we grow for our very diverse community. 40% of our St. Jamestown newcomer community live below the poverty line, although 50% have higher education, and we have no land to grow food. So on the one hand, we struggle. On the other hand, we have vast potential because of the extraordinary amount of knowledge and skills and experiences that are brought together from around the world in our neighborhood. For our community, having no land and everything just being really a struggle in this concrete high-rise community, it's almost magical to have an Oasis food garden that not only looks beautiful and produces healthy food to feed the family, but also can generate income to help pay bills. Like Brave, we share a belief in the power of advanced technology platforms and data collection to support sustainable innovation. We are a community enterprise cooperative, and we're excited to help develop the Colleaga Living Laboratory to equip all of our farms with pH, temperature, humidity, and luminescent sensors with real-time data flows, a trusted community data repository, and the analytics to optimize crops and to support our community entrepreneurs in commercializing value-added food products that can also be sold to our very wealthy neighbor markets, Rosedale, Cabbagetown. We're also starting to collect data to quantify and track our social and environmental return on investment. We have been developing a cooperative time banking system for years to track in-kind equity, support developmental evaluation, and honor member contributions. We are now exploring how a decentralized, distributed Web3 platform can work for us as well. The token economy is in its infancy, but we know that communities like ours will benefit from generating and owning our own research data to support ongoing local food system innovation. Every community is going to have slightly different needs, but we also all need to learn from each other. As we work towards replication in other communities, we are positioning ourselves to tap into the ag tech market, which last year received $30 billion in financing, a 30% year-over-year growth rate. Our niche is the $2.5 billion novel farming segment, over 400 deals in IoT and sensing systems, farm management, bioenergy, and marketplaces. In the next year, we will build on the $50,000 COIL award and the $100,000 that we have already been investing from other sources to expand and perfect our microfarm network and launch starter projects for these oases in other urban, rural, and northern communities. We are starting to develop replication plans with communities in Guelph, Wellington, the Bain Co-op in Toronto, our Oasis South partners in Jamaica, and Colleaga's Ubuntu partners in South Africa. As we have seen last year during Global Food Summit, tens of thousands of communities are seeking to build local capacity to secure access to healthy food in ways that support dignity and wellness and can adapt to climate shocks and supply chain disruptions. We believe our scalable technology can fully enable any community to achieve food sovereignty and help to advance the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in a time when the world is rapidly changing and needs sustainable solutions. This is our vision for a massive and diverse market seeking to secure reliable, sustainable local food systems. What is needed right now are collaborators who want to work with us operationally and financially to help cultivate our early replication and growth plans. We are so grateful to all of our partners and funders for helping us to bring our community's vision to life. It's been a long journey, but we can really see a lot of hope and excitement in these next phases as we are finally able to actually grow food in our apartments, hear the water running and see the fish swimming. And yeah, it's a tangibly exciting moment for us. And we're really looking forward to seeing all of the wonderful things that can happen as a result of all this work together. Thank you. And I'll pass it on to Dan.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Una. And Gordon and Dana and Aziki and your entire teams. Really, you're both such inspiring Canadian role models for all of we entrepreneurs who aspire to work in this impact space. So everybody, we're going to start breaking out into breakout rooms, and this is really where we create the real value. You've now heard that there are 2 example deals that are, on the one hand, look like no other deal you've ever seen. They're co-ops, they're community, they just don't seem to be about the kind of things that if you are an angel investor or a venture capitalist that look like, okay, this looks like a traditional deal. But on the other hand, they are very much like that. This is about digital health. It's a massive market. This is about an ag tech startup. That is a massive market. This is about tapping into the work that's being done around blockchain and impact distributed, decentralized organizations. It's part of that. So, and what we've also seen is that these entrepreneurs who have been tested in the fire of trying to create something new, and they are years into this journey, and they are demonstrating the resilience and the perseverance needed to be successful in the space. So as we break out into our breakout rooms, what we ask you is help us to create meaningful action.
Really stood out for me in our groups is that the idea of blended financing is not unheard of. There's a lot of different cooperatives and social enterprises that utilize that sort of framework with multiple streams of income, revenue, et cetera, with some really great examples inside of that. However, there was direct feedback saying like that blended financing sounds diluted, like it's a diluted investment. So it includes revenue. Oh my gosh, why is all the things going? And I'm sorry, I got distracted during the actual word, which was undiluted. No, help me. Non-diluted funding. Non-diluted funding as a way of structuring the framework so that investors can actually understand that the blended financing model includes a non-diluted funding stream, and that fits for more folks. And the rest was really some just lovely conversation, getting to know a little bit about what people were doing, what their backgrounds are, some promises for some connections and some emails and virtual chats in the future with some good network moments. Was there anything that stood out for you, Gordon?
Well, it was fun to have the co-op community in the house. It's honestly been a long time since we've had a chance to engage with folks who know co-ops inside and outside. So thanks, Dan and Peter, for asking those questions. It's normally I'm just having to explain what a co-op is, and not getting questions about like, yeah, just like the nerdy stuff, right? And that was fun. But thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gordon. Katie?
Yeah, so we were talking about, I'll just quickly share one of the pieces of advice that we got, which was just to be specific about what the ask is. So what is the raise? What are the challenges you're having in the raise? Who specifically are these ventures targeting? So just a little bit more specificity, and what the ask is that you're having from the investor would be helpful to feed into it. And then we're also talking about what to focus on. So less focus on the tech, more focus on the data, and having access to the data, and that being a main selling point. And that, I think, encompasses both ventures as well. But lots of positive feedback and folks who want to get involved for sure.
Great feedback. And in our room, the what struck me is we had different people, some from California, the Grand Challenges Canada, the looking at Indigenous innovation, food for the hungry, and the co-op set. And I think there was general, as well as the foundations, of course, and a general sense, and I think the last comment was very telling, that there's a trend towards blended financing, but there's a lack of capacity and understanding how really to do it. And so there's some education ahead of us to help people understand what it is that we're looking for, and there's willingness to do it, but education needed to do for how to do it. And perhaps that is also an opportunity in the market. Well, everybody, thank you very, very much for the time. We always appreciate when you make the time to come to our meetings. We hope this has been a valuable time for you. It certainly has been for us. We will reach out individually to those people who put their thumbs up and said, yes, reach out to us. We will invite you to not only to our next meetings, but as these deals firm up and we have a firm term sheet on the table, we'll reach out to you if you're interested in connecting. And of course, for our delivery partners and our co-op partners, we will reach out to you in addition to see how we can create the collaboratives that we're talking about. So thank you very much, and have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.